When Mark stumbles upon an undiscovered ice cave on a solo mission in Greenland, he has no idea what to expect of it. But when he encounters a strange-looking silhouette frozen deep in the ice, he knows that he has found something special. But when he finally gets through the ice and face to face with the silhouette, he is shocked to the core by what it actually is that he found. Maybe some frozen mysteries are better left undiscovered. But what did Mark discover in the ice wall? How had he even found this ice cave in the first place? And could this possibly be a discovery that the world would be better off without? But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. With century-old ice melting at an alarming rate over the past couple of decades, more and more secrets that were once hidden beneath it are becoming accessible, potentially revealing incredible things to be discovered, or things that should better be left untouched. Explorers from all over the world are ready to pounce on these opportunities, trying to forever cement their name in the history books. Most of these explorers fail dramatically in their effort, but Mark, a 36-year-old scientist, is not most explorers, and his most recent mission proved that. His journey will take him to northern Greenland, land that was previously completely inaccessible and thus still very much unexplored. But with the effects of climate change, this has recently changed, and Mark is determined to use this opportunity. And use it he did when he made the discovery of a lifetime there. Mark sets out on his journey, trying to find something frozen in time beneath the ice layer, which is getting thinner and thinner. He is equipped with the bare minimum to survive on this journey, and thus the first couple of weeks are tough to endure. But he knows that it will all be worth it in the end. The first few weeks are tough. With only enough to survive and no comforts from home, Mark is determined to find something to make the trip worth it. He's been hiking for miles now. Any civilization is at least 2 days away. But then he stumbles across something that may just be what he's looking for. As the days turn into weeks, Mark gets discouraged. His supplies are running out, and he's questioning his every move. With a final burst of courage and determination, he continues to hike out, searching for anything, a strange shadow, maybe a weird rock or even a crack in the ice. He continues to look, almost desperate. It's then that he spots it. On the wide ice-covered plain, he spots it. It's a rock formation of some kind, or so it seems. It's something at least. He heads toward it. This is it, his last hope. He's tired. He's running out of supplies. This is it before he has to head back to civilization. Could this really be something? Once he gets close, he determines that it is a rock formation. But there's something else. There's a breeze coming from small holes between the rocks. That's unusual, and it is definitely worth exploring. Could it be a cave? Or a tunnel of some kind? There's only one way to find out. Overwhelmed with excitement, Mark does his best to move the rock out of the way. It takes some time, but he manages it. There is most definitely a hole behind the rock, but where does it lead? And what could he find? But most importantly, should he even go in there, or wait and come back with others? Mark is a seasoned explorer, but he knows the dangers going alone would mean, especially since no one knows exactly where he is or what he's doing. There hasn't been phone service in 2 days, and there's certainly been no internet. It would be wildly irresponsible to go in now. Thinking rationally, Mark knows he should go back to the nearest village. It's a 2-day hike at least. He'd probably get cell service back and internet as he got closer. Maybe he could call someone to help him and come back. But then again, would he be able to find this hole again? It's then that he makes his decision. With curiosity getting the best of him, Mark decides to take a short look into the hole. He won't go too far, and he'll certainly be careful. After all, he's a seasoned explorer. He should be okay. The hole slopes downward, and taking caution, he carries onward. But he wasn't prepared for what he found. The hole quickly turns into a tunnel. It's narrow and difficult to walk through. He has to be careful with every step he takes. Mark is afraid that rocks could come loose and collapse on top of him, but as he goes deeper down, this seems less likely. After all, everything is frozen together, but things are about to get easier. The further down he goes, the wider the tunnel gets. It's dark and cold, Mark doesn't realize just how far down he's gone. Curiosity has gotten the best of him. Looking back, the entrance seems so small, a little light and a lot of darkness. As the tunnel gets wider, it suddenly turns into a giant cave. Mark is so excited. He could be the first person to ever see this cave. Making his way through it, he finds that the cave is bigger than he thought. He knows he should leave and come back, but this needs to be explored. Walking around for hours, there's nothing but ice and rock, but his luck is about to change. Trying to keep track of where the entrance is, Mark continues to walk around. It's dangerous to be doing this alone. He knows this in his mind, but his heart longs to continue, and so he does. After all, nothing comes without some risk. So he continues on, and his dedication is about to pay off, and big. It's only then that Mark spots an ice wall that is different from the rest. Because of the layers of ice around him, they seemed very blue and white, but this ice wall is different. There's some form of dark silhouette behind it. It can't be just another rock. This was felt strange, and he had to find out what it was. Walking closer to the ice wall, he shines a light on it. There is definitely something here, but what? He shines the light over the dark silhouette, trying to make out anything that could give him a clue as to just what this is. But there's no luck. He's going to have to try something else. Luckily, he has just the thing, or so he thinks. Going through what little supplies he has, Mark finds his small pickaxe and begins to chip away at the ice. Unfortunately, it's pretty solid. It's a long time before he even thinks about giving up, but given how little progress he's made, it's just not worth it. He'll probably freeze to death before finding anything. He's been stubborn all day. It's true that he's made some questionable decisions. After all, he's deep in a cave under the surface all by himself, and no one even knows he's here. It's about as dangerous as it can get. It's time to go back and get help. He can't make this discovery alone. It's time to be sensible and call it a day. Before leaving, he pulls out a piece of paper and begins to map out the cave as best he can. He wants to be sure he can find this place again. It's only once he has this done that he makes his way back to the entrance of the cave. He was definitely leaving, but only for now. There was something here, and he had to know what it was. It was fairly easy to find his way back to the tunnel. Going uphill was another battle, but Mark makes it. By the time he gets out and back to the surface, it's dark. He needs to set up his camp soon or he'll freeze. While he gets to work with that, he makes his plan for tomorrow. He's got some work to do. With his plan in mind, he gets ready to sleep. He's going to head back to the nearest village. It's a 2-day hike. From there, he's going to recruit a group of people to help him get through the ice wall. He could tell his peers, but they'd stick their noses into it, maybe even try to take credit. He wants to do this discovery by himself. The journey back to the village was long and difficult. The cold wind had picked up and snow had started to fill the air. Mark was in serious danger of hypothermia, but he didn't care. He was more concerned with remembering how he could find his way back to the cave. Everything else did not matter anymore at this point. All throughout the night, Mark dreams of the dark silhouette. What could it be? A new species? Something made by humans a long time ago? Chuckling to himself, he even considers the idea of Bigfoot, but that's absurd. He barely gets any sleep, but come morning, Mark is ready to take off at the first rays of sunlight. He had noted his exact location on a digital map he had downloaded, but this was very inaccurate as the map was way too zoomed out, and he had been paranoid about putting something like a flag next to the cave just because somebody else may find it. It was his discovery to make and no one else's. So he was doing his very best to remember the exact location while journeying back. He had picked out certain landmarks that helped him pinpoint the exact location of the cave again. He was determined to find his way back to the cave, whatever it takes. Nobody would stop him. This could be life-changing. Mark already pictured himself famous. In the town, Mark quickly gathers some locals willing to help him dig something out of the ice for money. He keeps the details vague, simply stating he needs help with a significant discovery. The townspeople, eager to earn quick cash, agree without asking too many questions. Mark spends the day preparing for the journey. He gathers supplies, tools, and snow scooters capable of navigating the harsh terrain. The expenses drain his bank account, but he is willing to risk everything, including going into debt, to secure his place in history. The following day, they set out to locate the cave. A snowstorm has blanketed the area, making landmarks almost unrecognizable. Despite hours of searching and growing frustration among the helpers, Mark insists on continuing. Finally, one of the locals discovers the hidden entrance by accidentally poking a hole in the snow. Mark's excitement grows as they carefully descend into the slippery cave. It looks exactly as he remembered. The team soon reaches the massive ice wall containing the mysterious silhouette. Mark feels this is his moment of fame. The helpers, initially puzzled, begin speculating about the frozen figure. They cautiously start digging, aware that the thick ice requires meticulous effort. Suddenly, one worker strikes the ice too hard, triggering loud rumbles. Cracks spread rapidly across the wall, alarming the team. Most helpers retreat toward the entrance, fearing the cave might collapse. However, Mark stays put, unwilling to abandon what could be the defining moment of his life. Moments later, the ice wall shatters into countless pieces, revealing what had been hidden for centuries. To Mark's surprise, it isn't a preserved creature, but a stone wall covered in ancient drawings. His initial disappointment quickly turns to intrigue as he examines the carvings, which depict scenes of hunting, fire, and human figures. They resemble early cave art, suggesting ancient humans once lived there. Realizing the importance of the discovery, Mark informs the media and the scientific community. Experts arrive in droves, declaring the site a protected area. Though the discovery wasn't what Mark initially hoped for, it gains widespread recognition and cements his name in history. The discovery costs Mark a great deal of time, money, and effort. However, the pride of being credited for such a significant find far outweighs the financial losses. For Mark, this achievement is his lasting legacy, even if it didn't make him rich.